Okay, so this is another thing. So I I do like crafty things, right? And I just suddenly sometimes just get like the urge. I like make stuff or recycle stuff, or I go through phases where I paint everything: mailbox, lamps, blinds, chairs. And so one day I painted this old rusty like metal folding chair. Boom. And my phone had just got stolen, but I wish I could show you a picture of it because it's flippin' amazing. This is amazing. And again, I don't need validation or confirmation or anything, but it's like crazy. It's not crazy because it's like, oh, duh, I knew it already. But again, so I painted, and again, the detail that I painted this chair were like these mountains, and again, there's very intricate detail. And I have a memory of like a dream or a vision or a timeline jump where somebody I had a conversation with, and they're like, oh, that's a real place. And it's called these like and it's somewhere like in China or something, and it's called like 18 Ponds and Dragon King or something, right? And so I was watching a podcast, Mr. Bowen, and he does like these strange, darkened things, and the episode is like these true stories that like broke reality. So he tells a story about Faye, this girl who's like born sickly, and she has a very strict routine, and she goes only to like her house and her parents, and then or her sisters, or to the store to get snacks and blah blah blah. Very routine because she was sickly and she couldn't really do too much. So anyway, some one day she sees these five people, and they're like, Faye. They call her out by name. Faye, come here, come, and she gets like excited. And like again, I remember this too. Like I remember this because I was Faye, and so they like call by name, and I go with these people up into this mountain trail. And again, it's so amazing. And again, as Faye, I'm like, how can I live so close to such a great place? And this is kind of like the story too I told about this girl Christina who took me into a place that seemed like far away, but one minute we're in the city, and the next minute we're just walking and like in a backyard, and the next minute we're like massive feet up in the air on this like above the river in this magic like glass castle place that felt like home to me. But anyway, so long story short, back to the podcast. So Faye goes into the mountain, and she's like, I can't believe I live so close to such an amazing place that I've never seen. And she's having a great time. And all of a sudden, like hours go by, they seem like to be walking, and then it's like nighttime, and or like something. All of a sudden, the people are gone, and she's like trying to make her way back home, and she's like stumbling, getting off trail, and she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna die out here. They tricked me, they drugged me, they did something, because all of a sudden she's like doesn't remember where they were, where how did they just left, how did it get so dark, and she's trying to make her way back home, and she's like, I'm gonna die out here, they tricked me, they drugged me, something. So she finally like gets to like the sun's starting to come up, and she's like, oh thank god. She sees the water, and she goes, she's like taking some in her mouth, and she's splashing her face, and she feels like a little out of it, and she's like, but the sun shines, and she sees a path, and she can kind of make, she's like, I know that path will take me back home. So she comes down, and she's going down the path, and she sees a big crowd of people, and she's like, oh my god, those are my people, my family. And she's like, hey guys, like I'm here. And she expects that, she's like, oh, they probably had a search party for me because I've been gone like overnight, and this is like not typical, and at least for mad hours. She doesn't even know how long. So again, she expects her family to be like excited, and she's like running, like, hey guys, I'm here. And she expects them to be happy, but they're like horrified almost, or scared. And so she's like calls to her sister, like, I'm fine, I'm here. And her sister breaks rank and comes up and gives her a hug, and it's like this emotional thing. And she's like, hey, I'm fine. I just went up for a couple hours with these five people I met. And she's like, you know what, it's okay. I've only been gone for like a couple hours. And the sister's like, no, you were gone for 17 days. And again, where she was at in the woods, it's like impossible to live that long. Like, and again, they take her to the hospital, and she had lost like 60 pounds or something. And before that, there's only one other person that had lived this long in the woods. Um, and it was only for 12 days. And this was somebody that was like buff and stuff, like fit and meant to like an avid hiker or exerciser. And Faye, who had a tumor and was heavily medicated and sickly and didn't get much exercise, like it was like impossible. How did she live? And so also too, she remembers the people that she had met and knew their names and described them perfectly. And the people are like, bro, you couldn't have gone with those people because those people have been dead a long time. And again, the story is crazy because the woods are talked about being haunted. And again, when I had videos before about how there's there's dead good entities and dead bad ones, and there's angels and demons are real. And again, there's this is another thing too. They want the demons, like even alcohol is a spirit. Again, even all the dead, they're waiting for the moment. They want to come back to life. Even people who like kill themselves, and again, or demons, they want a body. They want that warmth. They want the life. They again. So sometimes they're like ruthless, and they'll do things to people to try to be able to take over the body snatchers, like. So again, so if like it's crazy, it's not crazy because the truth is stranger than fiction. But again, like these five people, and this is all very real. And again, God is so great. God is so amazing because again, He saves you for so many things. So many. He saved me from so many things. Like again, and in the timelines when you jump these timelines or live these lifetimes or been a part of these things, these rituals, these cults, these covens, these government experiments, like, and to be able to have sound mind and sound recollection, to be able to articulate it or to process it, and then again to even have tangible proof, like, okay, I live in upstate New York. If I've never been to this place, how did I paint this chair? That's exactly the story. How do I exactly remember all this stuff that happened? And sometimes too, like it just like with PTSD, okay, like these things sometimes, or like people who with the Neuralink, like I was talking to this girl that works for the government, and she was telling me about this. She's like, yeah, they can mind erase you, blah 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 blah, and now because the government has it, you can get it on the dark web, and anybody can own it. They also have this thing where they can make you like sit down, like, or guide you and put you in this trance like thing, and you don't even know how you got somewhere at all until you're like wake up there, or you wake up somewhere else. Or if they erase you, whether it's magic or this mind eraser, or they put this thing in your eye and it like literally goes across your frontal cortex and or in your pineal gland. So you got to separate the technical from the spiritual, but that's essentially what it is. And they can literally see out your eyes, or they can stick like some kind of metal needle, like either in your eye to see what you're seeing or control your brain and your words, or they can put something in your leg or arm and it can make you like literally like a robot. They can program you, remote control you essentially, and have you go places or do things. Like there's a lot of people who go and commit crimes that they're not even actively willingly doing, or they can take your consciousness out, put in an animal or a baby, and then take over your body temporarily, go and rape someone, murder someone, and get you caught on camera, leave your fingerprints, and then you're set up for this crime later. And again, you're like, it's impossible. I never. So this is another reason, like, so many innocent people are on death row or been murdered and executed or life in prison because of things they actually did not commit and have no possible way that they did it, except their body did do it, but they were not in their body at the time. And to try to explain, and this is why a lot of people too end up like homeless on the streets when they or labeled schizophrenic. When I was a kid, I was labeled schizophrenic. I was labeled bipolar, PTSD, Asperger's syndrome, just dramatic, theatrical, crazy, like all these things. But it turns out it's just people love to play ostrich. And again, when your abusers are all around you and they're all, the best way to paint something as not credible is to, or there was like, oh, a conspiracy. Oh, it's a conspiracy. I had a friend of mine who I thought was a friend, and turns out these people were all a part of it. My whole life was like the Truman fucking Show. And the worst part, they were like, sit or like, watch me like on the brink. Again, I didn't want to hurt anybody else, so I was like slicing my skin, slicing my face with razors, stepping on lit cigarettes, literally like going crazy, talking to myself, bashing my fucking face off the wall, because again, I'd seen such horrible things, and I didn't want to hurt anybody at all. And I know what I'm capable of, because again, I'm my mother's savage daughter, and I'm my daddy's daughter, baby. I could get to rocking, but it's all about choice. We all have a choice. So, but again, I was afraid, like Pandora's box. I knew that once I let this out, and because I had held in so much for so long, it was not going to be pretty, not going to be pretty. So I'd rather hurt myself than somebody else. Or then I stopped. I was able to, thanks to God too, because again, it clicked to me. And I had a guy I dated, and this was many years ago. This is decades ago, actually. And another time in my life, because again, it's been happening for a very fucking long time, 40 years, in fact. Um, so I was like on a mental breakdown. I was like, literally, I must be the problem. The whole world can't be wrong. And this guy, thank God to him, and it was fucked up too because the guy I was seeing at the time, like literally, I would have never, I was not a dater, okay, anyway. So it was a big deal for me to be dating this guy. And, turned out like, I thought his name was Kurt. But then one day I figured out after months and months of dating, his name wasn't Kurt, it was Michael. Kurt was his middle name, Michael Curtis. And I was like, bro, we're done. That's such a huge thing to lie about. Again, you would think at any time, like when you meet somebody, you would at least indicate your real name, right? And I'm like, bro, I had you around my kids, I had you in my house, I gave you my body, like I trusted you, I gave you like my heart, like how the fuck dare you? I'll never talk to you again, like how dare you? So, but anyway, but again, that one day I'm like in the kitchen, I'm like literally losing my mind. And this is, again, many times in my life, people like accuse me of being on drugs. This is long before I even knew drugs, right? I mean, I knew drugs, but I didn't know drugs, let alone do them. Um, so anyway, one day I'm like, I'm literally, it must be me. I must actually be fucking crazy. I need to go get medicine or something because I used to be on medicine when I was a kid. And the guy just said something so simple. And he was like, he's like, no, the whole world can be wrong and has been wrong so many fucking times. So many times. Repeatedly, we find out over and over and over the whole world can be wrong. So again, trust yourself, trust God, like literally, and thankfully too. So, and that's like explains the whole like BDSM thing. So like pain can be released. And people don't want to die. People don't want to hurt themselves. I hate people who are like self-mutilators. They just want attention. No, it's about release. It's that they're experiencing something that they have no way to articulate or no safe space to verbalize it or to comprehend, process, and cope and overcome it. Um, and again, unfortunately, too, like it can be really tough, especially because with PTSD or complex PTSD. So, like, the last thing in the world is you want is constant triggers. And again, everything can be a fucking trigger. So then you're in this perpetual cycle of reliving these horrifying moments. But at the same time, that's the exact way to heal. That's the exact way to cope. To know that I am not defined by these traumas. I am not defined by these people. How people treat you is their karma. How you react is yours. So again, and it can be tough too. Everyone's like, you're know-it-all, you're know-it-all. And you can get defeated. You're like, what's the point of knowing everything if nobody listens? But also, the fucking motherfuckers, I'm the first person they go to for help. The first person they go to for advice. The first person they go when they need something. But I'm also like the first person they fucking like mock or belittle or disregard or throw away and use until I call them out on it. And then they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're fucking psycho. Go take your meds. Blah, 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 blah. Like all this crazy things. And again, when you know that the police, the judges, the fucking your neighbors, your family, your kids, all of them can be involved in this. It can be like so overwhelming. But again, trust yourself, trust God, because again, life is still beautiful. And again, this even all the bad things, even all the bad people, this is all part of God's purpose. That's what you have to understand. And like I said, this is like probation. This is like training day. And pressure creates diamond and fire refines gold. So you have to understand too that there's love them when it's ugly. That's beautiful in God's eyes. Realizing too that I didn't need attention. I didn't even want validation. I don't even want to talk to about these things to you guys. Not because I sound crazy or because I want attention or anything like that. I want other people to know that it's not, you're not alone, number one. Number two, you're not crazy. Number three, it's so simple, even though it's really hard. It's so fucking hard. There's still days where I'm like, oh my God, please God, like let it just end. But again, I know that it's a greater purpose. And I know that you can just like literally shake it off. It's so simple. Thumb wrestle, go for a walk outside, talk to an animal, talk to a kid, just hum, pull a joker, and everything will be fine.